Hello and welcome back to my channel, Craft Time by Casey. I'm Casey and today we will be making a crystal cube bracelet. And I have one here that I finished, and it is inspired by one of the patterns in the Potomac bead box, and I really wanted to see how flexible these patterns were, and I kind of wanted to take their idea and tweak it quite a bit. And I found they were very flexible. Not the bracelet, but I found the patterns were very flexible to kind of make it your own, which I find to be pretty awesome. I highly recommend the Potomac bead box. It has been fantastic so far. So this is the end product of what we will be making today, of course with different colors. So what you will need, if you want to follow along exactly what I'm making, this is what you will need. Of course, like I said, it's very flexible and works with different beads. It's really up to you. However, what I will be using today are 4mm cube crystals, and for the style that I have, you'll need 8 different colors. And I know it looks, like I have it incredibly organized for the purpose of a video, but I really truly recommend that you have it separated like this, because as you're making the bracelet, we're going to be making it one column at a time this way. So it's really important that you keep the colors separated. You don't make it one color at a time and you use all the colors and then move to the next one. So it is very important to keep the colors separated like this, especially if you have colors that are pretty similar and you might accidentally, mix up the colors. I'm also going to be using 6/0 seed beads and 11/0 seed beads. And the ones I have are these check glass seed beads, and it's in sapphire luster, and of course the same color in both sizes. I also have a toggle clasp, and I have a 5-end connector. It's got this leaf or flower pattern on it that I really like, and then 2 jump rings. And then at the end, well, this bracelet is mostly bead weaving, but at the end I will be using 2 sets of chain nose pliers to put the clasp on. I am going to be using a size 12 beading needle and a fire line, and I will show you. This is what I'm using. It is, of course, I have the 125 yards. You can get them all different lengths. 8-pound will certainly work, so will 6-pound, and I'm using the color Smoke, which is this black color, and I think I got this on Amazon. And to start off, I'm going to be using a stop bead. So this is a 6/0 seed bead, but the size of it really doesn't matter because this doesn't have a part of the bracelet. It only is going to be holding the end spot of my line. So the way I do it is you bead through it once like this, and then you go back through the opposite end, or the same one you did the first time. You just don't go back through the same way. So you like this, and then you pull it through to the opposite end. And then you want to leave about a 6-inch tail. That way you can tie it off when you get to the other end. Just like that. To begin this bracelet, you're going to get 1 6/0 seed bead and then 4 of color number 1. So it's going to look just like that. And then you're going to pull it all the way down to the stop bead. Just like that. And then you're going to get another 6/0 seed bead and 4 of color number 2. Just like that. And then pull it down. So So right now the end looks like this. Another 6/0 seed bead, color number 3, 4 of color number 3. Just like this, pull it down. So right now it looks like this. Great thing about this bracelet is that once you get it, once you do it once, it's very repetitive and easy to make, and it comes out beautifully. So I'm going to get another 6/0 seed bead, and then 4 of color number 4. Just like this. We have the first 4 colors on there. Looks just like that. 6/0 seed bead, right there. There's how it looks. Another 6/0 seed bead. There you go. Pull it to the end. All right, there's 6 colors. Another 6/0 seed bead. And when you get to this end, for the last color, color number 8, you're going to get another 6/0 seed bead because you want to have one on each side. Then you pull it down. And that is what it looks like when you have your entire first row. Now, I'm going to take my first end piece and I'm going to put my thread through the hole on the far right end, okay? So I'm going to come from the bottom up, and I'm going to try to leave it lay here and try to bring you in a little. Once you have it through this first hole on the connector, you're going to go all the way back through the entire line, okay, of this first line. So this is going to be pretty straightforward. Don't worry if it gets separated like that. When you get it to the other end, you can tighten it all up. A lot of times, and actually I find most times in bead weaving projects, you kind of hold the piece in your hands as you're making it. This bracelet, I have found, I don't know that that's possible. It might be for you if you're making it, but I just think that the only way to, that I have found to do this properly is to leave it laying on the mat. Make sure you don't go through that stop bead, because like I said, that is not part of the bracelet. Here is what we have. You have gone all the way through each color, gone through the far right hole on the connector, and all the way back through each color. So you're coming out right here, the same side where you have the tail. So I'm going to kind of put my tail over here to the side, and this is my active string. So now I'm going to get my other connector, and this time, as I'm facing it, I'm going to be using the hole on the far left side, okay? So I have it here, and I'm going to go down through the top of it and up through that second one. So down through this first one on the left, up, back up through the second one. And then I'm going to kind of pull it to where it's decently snug. Don't worry about trying to get it super snug right now. As you go through and make it, it will tighten up. Okay, so I've got my tail kind of going off this way, as out of the way as I can. And like I said, I don't know of any way that this can be held while you're making it. For me, the easiest way to make this is to have it laying on the mat. All right, so I'm coming up out of this second hole right here. And then this second row is the row that starts an additional step that we have to do and that we'll have to do for every row going forward. Okay, so this first row was just kind of a straightforward, go all the way down and go all the way back. Now, for this second row, I'm going to get 1/6 seed bead, 4 of color number 1, and then 1/6 seed bead. And you only do that on the end where you get the additional, on the ends where you get that additional seed bead. So here's what it looks like. And we're going to bring it down to the end. All right, so now, just give it a little tug. Again, you don't have to worry about getting it too snug, too tight, because it'll tighten up as we're going. So right here, you have your thread coming out of this second seed bead in this row. So what you're going to do is go back up through the seed bead that matches where it's at. So you're right here, you're going to go back up the seed bead that it's right next to. Just the seed bead, just like that. Go up. Make sure your thread doesn't get caught on anything. And don't worry about your seed beads pointing in together or anything like that, because when you go back through it, they will straighten out. So right now, your thread is going back up that seed bead that was right next to it. And then you want to go back down your active line. And then give it a little bit of a tug. All right, so you've got that first color, color number 1, seed bead on each end. Then out of this one, you wrapped it back around that seed bead, okay? So now we're going to get 4 of color number 2 and a seed bead. So here we have it right here for the next color. We're going to pull it all the way down. And then you have it lined up with that seed bead. And then you're going to do it again. So just the seed bead, you're going to go back up. Pull it a little bit snug. Like I said, you don't want to pull it too snug, but just give it a little tug. And every time you do that, these seed beads will kind of point together, and that's okay. Because as soon as you put it back through your original one, like we're going to do right here, they will straighten up. Back through. Okay, and like I said, this is where it can get a little repetitive. So you're going to do that for each color on down this line. So I'll do one more with you, and then I'll do the rest of this row off camera until we get to the end. So at this point, I need color number 3, and I need a 6/0 seed bead. So I will get 4. So here we go. I have 4 of color number 3 and a 6/0 seed bead. Pull it down. And where they're lined up, you're going to do that same thing with that 6/0 seed bead. You're going to go back up in that original line. And then you're going to go back down your active line. All right, so now continue matching each color all the way until you get to the end of this line, and then I will meet back up with you before we connect it to our original connector. Here we are, I am back. I just put the last color on there with the last seed bead, and as you can see, I have not connected it to anything. And I will go ahead and show you how to connect the next end to start the 3rd row. So very similar to what we did down here, you're going to go down through the top of that 2nd hole, and then back up that 3rd one, and then pull it decently snug. Now, one thing I will say is I am right-handed, so it works better for me to go this way, so I can work with my right hand. Obviously, if you're left-handed, you could, do it the other way. But I'm going to just turn the bracelet around, and I do this after every row because I work better with my right hand. So now go ahead and give that a little tug. Let me back it up a little bit. So give it a little tug right here. You just went down the 2nd one and back up and out of this middle one right here. And now you are going to rinse and repeat through each row. So it is the exact same thing. And I'll go ahead and do one more with you in this row and before we skip to the end to show how you do, of course, covering the end pieces with the smaller seed beads. So with each one on the end, the first one, you're going to start with a 6/0 seed bead, all right? And here, we're gonna go through the colors backwards because since we flipped the bracelet around, we're starting with this end down here, so we're starting with color number 8. So you make sure all the colors match. We're gonna grab 4 of color number 8, and another 6/0 seed bead, and it looks like that, because we're starting right here. All right, so now slide it to the end, and just like with that first row, you're going to go right back into that seed bead in the 2nd row. And every time you get to one of the 6/0 seed beads through the middle of the bracelet, you're going to wrap it around, just like that. Okay? The only ones you don't do are the ones on the on the absolute outer ends because they're connected to the end connector pieces. So right here, we've gone back through this seed bead. So now we're going to go back out our active line. And remember, don't worry that the seed beads point in. They will do that every time until you go back out. And then they straighten up. So then I like to put my nail on it and just kind of give it a little tug. And it makes it pretty straight. So at this point, I have shown how you will connect each piece all the way until we get to this end on this last hole. Okay, so you're going to connect it the exact same way after every color. When you get to that 6/0 seed bead, you want to make sure that you wrap it around the seed bead that is next to it. Then get the next color, wrap it around. So all 5 seed beads across, like here in the one I already have finished, all 5 seed beads are going to be connected to each other. But if you look at these, they're not connected to each other. So the whole bracelet is connected at the seed beads, okay? But not with the cube crystals. All right, so it's connected just from the seed beads. So as you're going through, wrap it around that 6/0 seed bead, and then you add the next color. And then you turn it around exactly the same way I did over here. That is, if you want to do it that way, because I'm right-handed, like I said, I prefer to work this way. But you're just going to work your way back and forth until you get to this last line right here. And I will come back and I will meet you there, show you how to kind of close it off and what we're going to do with the 11/0 seed beads. All right. And I am now at this last piece. As you can see, I haven't connected it, and it is going to go into this last piece. Now, like I said, I keep this laying down for the bracelet part of the project, like the main part. This is the point where I do pick it up again. And to do the end, just like every other one, I'm going to go down and pull it through. And that will tighten it up. And that does complete the bracelet, but of course it's not tied off. It's still kind of loose. And it's coming out of the back. So I'm going to come up the row next to it. I pull it kind of snug. And then I'm going to go down the middle. I accidentally went to tie a loop there, and I don't need to do that. All right, so now I'm coming out of the back of the middle of it, right here. And from the middle, I'm going to connect back up this front one. Okay, so I'm going to be coming from the back up. And now I am coming up out of this last one. So now we're going to go over the part to add the small seed beads over the end connector. I'm going to pick up 4 11/0 seed beads. There you go. And then I'm going to go down the one next to it. And those seed beads will kind of drape across. Then I'm going to come back up the middle one. Trying to make this easy to see while I'm able to hold it at the same time. So I'm coming out of this middle one. I'm going to pick up 4 more. Got 4. I'm going to go back through that second one. Of course, my needle got caught in it. That's okay. I can just take it out. And then it'll drape over, just like that. So I'm coming out of the second one from the back. Now I'm going to come back into the opposite one, the opposite second one. So it's actually the fourth one, just like this. Then I'm going to pick up 4 more, like this. Go back in the middle one. And make sure I don't make a loop knot this time. All right, so we're coming out of this middle one, and we are going to now, so we're coming out of this middle one right here, and we're going to go into the end one right here, coming up. And now I'm going to pick up 4 more, right like this. And I'm going to go down through that second one. So it drapes over just like that. And now we need to get from this end all the way over to the other end. So we are coming down out of this one here. And we are going to go down this 6/0 seed bead. Go ahead and pick it up, make it a little bit easier on myself. And then start, as we did at the very beginning, start making our way all the way down till the other end. So now I'm coming through the 6/0 seed bead there at the end. Make sure I'm not caught on anything. Okay. So I'm going to go down through the hole of the connector where the seed bead I just came out of. And I purposefully went through this second row here so that when I go down, I am coming back up this first row, which is exactly where I need to be. If you come down the first row, then you're going to be coming down this second hole, which you could still do it at that point, but it would just take a little bit more maneuvering. So we're right here coming out of this first hole up the top, and we're going to get 4 seed beads, 4 11/0 seed beads, and we're going to go down that second one. And it'll drape them across. Again, trying to hold on to it, but still make it visible. Come out the second, or the third one, the one in the middle. Get 4 more. And we're gonna go down the second one. It's gonna drape right over. And from here, we're going to come back up this third one. I'm trying not to go through any of this 11/0 seed beads. There we go. Get 4 more. 4 more 11/0s. And we're coming out of this middle, and we're going to go to the fourth one. Pull it through, let it drape over. Then we're going to come out of this last hole and get 4 more and come back through the 4th one. And you have it draped across, just like that. So now it is a matter of tying it off. So here is how I will tie it off. So I'm going to go down through that first color of of cubes, okay? And I'm going to go down in the middle of those two and back up on the other side of that 6/0 seed bead. And when I create that loop right there, I'm gonna make sure I don't get it caught up on anything. So I have a loop right there, I'm gonna go through it and then snug it kind of tight. All right, then I'm gonna go through that 6/0 seed bead, down through the next color, and honestly, just doing it that one time would probably hold it. I just, you know, like the little extra. I recommend doing it at least twice. So I'm right above where this second connected set of 6/0 seed beads is. I'm gonna go down on one side, and before I pull it too snug, I'm gonna come back up right next to it, and then go through the loop and pull it kind of snug. And then I'm gonna do it a second time right here at this same spot. Pull it, go through on the other side. It gets a little bit smaller. I'm going to put it through the loop and then pull it kind of snug. And then that has pretty much got it tied off. So I'm going to now, which I don't know that I said the cutters at the very beginning, I'm going to use my fine point cutters. Get pretty close, snip that off. And then I'm gonna go back to the tail. From the very beginning where I have the 6/0 seed bead that wasn't a part of the bracelet, and pull that off. I'm gonna thread this through my needle. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So I'm coming out of that very first line with this one, and I'm going to go through the end. You want to make sure you don't just go back through the seed bead because the tail is kind of hanging out there. So I'm going to go through the end connector. That way it's connected to it. And then back through that first color. Ooh, not through the seed bead. On this side. Okay. And then for this one, I think I went through that seed bead anyway. That's okay. I'll go through the next color and then come out right before the seed bead. So I'm coming out of that second color and I'm going to go around the thread bridge between the two of them. And I'm going to see that loop, go through it, and pull it kind of snug. hang on to it and pull it kind of snug. And then I will go through again at this same spot. Go through that loop and pull it kind of snug. And that's a pretty good knot. And actually, just because I want it as secure as I can make it, I'll go through the 6/0 seed bead and I'll do it again. Go through that loop. Make sure it's not caught on anything. And then I'll do it again. Go through that loop. Pull it kind of snug. Then I'll take my cutters. Snip the end off. And there is the bracelet part. You see the smaller seed beads at the end, the 11/0s. They add a nice decoration, and they really complement the bigger 6/0 seed beads. So now, back up just a little bit, we're gonna put on that toggle. So I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, and this is gonna be super quick. Take that first jump ring, and I open that jump ring, go opposite ways, put it at the end, put one end of the toggle clasp, close that jump ring. And there's one end, and then we go to the other end. Open the jump ring, make sure I open it enough. And I put it through the other side. Put the other side of the toggle clasp through it. And there you have it. There is the finished product. I think it turned out quite nice. Absolutely lovely. I like the different shades of blue. So you have this one here. Very, very similar to the original. Just different colors. And as you can see, the end connector on the first one was just a little bit bigger, and it still came out really nice. Scoot it down just a little bit. And yeah, it still came out really nice with a little bit shorter, different toggle. I really like how this came out. Thank you for watching this tutorial. If you liked what you saw and you want to see other videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button below. Give me a like, put in a comment. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what else you would like to see. I like doing these types of videos, so let me know what you would like to see down below. I look forward to seeing what you guys have to say, and I also look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thank you.